Welcome to Let's Face the Facts. I'm David Almeida, and I'm your host for this rewatch podcast for the classic sitcom The Facts of Life. I'm an actor in Orlando, Florida, and every week I bring you some of the greatest talent in the Central Florida arts community. Join us as we synopsize, analyze, criticize, and ultimately idolize the show, episode by episode. Hey guys, here we are again. Another show, another week. Thank you so much for downloading and pressing play. My guest this week is Michele Sims. I am so thrilled I got to talk and interact with her. It had been far too long. She is an actress on the stage and the screen, both large and small, as well as being a comedian and an improviser. She's done some TV work. We didn't even get to talk about her film role that brought her some attention, her brief cameo as the drunk Amish girl in the movie Sex Drive. That was a lower budget, I think it was a semi-independent, sort of a teen sex comedy, you know, driving somewhere to get laid. And I know Seth Green I think he was a producer and he played a role in it. But yeah, Michele has a very memorable scene. I will see if I can find it isolated and post it on the webpage for this episode. But Michele used to live in Orlando. She's now a Los Angeles resident out in the Hollywood, and she's continued acting and continued being an amazing improviser. She's worked with the Groundlings, and currently at the Second City, she's on one of the house teams, so still going strong and writing two-person shows and solo shows. I first met her when we started working at Sleuth's Mystery Dinner Theater. We would go on to work together for 2 glorious years at the Citizens of Hollywood at Disney. She has a brain that finds the weirdest things to interject and the most bizarre points of view. And there's no vanity about her comedy. She has no issue with appearing silly or stupid or unattractive. She goes for the laugh, and she always gets it. At least she always does when I'm in the room. So I've always been one of her biggest fans. I'm thrilled she agreed to do the show, and I think we probably need to get to it, huh? This week, Michele and I watched Season 5, Episode 21, Mother and Daughter, which had an original air date of February 22nd, 1984. I think we're ready to jump on in. Let's face the facts with Michele Sims. Ladies and gentlemen, zooming her way all the way across the country from the West Coast, former East Coastian and dear, sweet, amazing, talented, funny lady, it's Michele Sims. She just ducked out of frame and just made a swooping Auntie Mame-like entrance. I wish my listeners could have seen that. That was just beautiful and grand.
Hello, David.
It's so great to see your face, and we've already been talking and BSing, and I'm like, okay, if we don't start recording the show, we're going to run out of daylight in our lives here, because I could catch up with you, because God, I miss you, girl. I loved working with you so much.
That was my favorite job ever.
Mm-hmm. Citizens of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yes, you were Mimi Kaboom, the first Mimi Kaboom. And at the time, I was still Holden Hollywood.
Yes. I felt like Betty Shambles was a better match for me, but they didn't think so.
That's right. Because after you did Mimi Kaboom, you then transitioned into you were the original Betty Shambles. That was a character that you created initially.
Yeah. But I have expanded on that.
Yes, you have.
She's evolved. my version. She's evolved into Betsy Wetness.
Yes. Oh, the stuff you post on Instagram,
I'm trying to get better about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just want my Instagram to be filled with stupid shit.
Well, who is it that called you the the Lenny Bruce of the citizens of Hollywood. Was that a Tim Williams?
Maybe. I
Is it?
don't remember that, but I love
Yeah,
that.
it's Michelle. Your sense of humor is so out of left field, and working with you was always like this. It was like the most amazing crapshoot that you knew would always pay off because
Oh God.
you'd come up with the most bizarre shit out of nowhere, stuff that nobody would think about, and just anyhow.
Cool.
So yeah, I believe we have belabored the point that I adore you and I miss working with you at both Disney and at Sleuths, where we first
Yeah.
met, and
Yes.
so much fun. But no, we cannot talk about us, Michelle. We have more important things
Yes.
on the docket today. We are about to discuss The Facts of Life, season
Learning
5.
facts of life.
Yes.
Hipper dipper, hipper dipper, hipper dipper, bitten by bear. Bucket bucket. In the hand behind a whole load and didn't die and dibba dobba dibba die. Bibba there with the bird, the hipper tea. Opa dee bin bapa
how
dooty.
would Aaron Neville have done that?
You take the good, you take the bad. You take them both and there you have the facts of life.
Oh my God. Yes. Season 5, episode 21, Mother and Daughter. Original air
Dun
date. Oh,
dun.
and here's the thing. Original air date, February 29th, 1984. Happy Leap Day,
Ooh.
Michelle. So the episode was written by Jerry Mayer. He is one of the original creators of the show, one of the developers. So he's been with the show from the very beginning. And fun fact, I've never really looked up what he did before. He did The Facts of Life. One of his earliest credits is he wrote 6 episodes of Bewitched.
Oh,
It's like, yeah.
that's awesome.
And other stuff in between, and not much after Facts of Life. And I assume it's because he might have been of a certain age, he might have retired, and as a producer, he made his money off of 201 episodes of a show for which they did not pay their actors any residuals. The producers got all the fucking money.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the episode...
that burns.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's
that
terrible.
burns deep. Wow.
Yeah. Oh no, I hear you. That's yeah. And the episode was directed by Norman Cohen. Norman Cohen is not the typical director. Typically, Asad Kelada is the director of the shows. So this is one of the rare anomalies of a show that Mr. Kelada did not direct. And this is only, and this is one of only 2 credits to be found on Norman Cohen's IMDb page. We have this, and then some sort of a short that he produced in 2002, and then he disappears.
Bum, bum.
So
Bum,
I don't
bum,
know.
bum.
I don't know where he ended up or what else he ended up doing in his career, but just throwing that out there. Yes. So did you watch the show growing up? You're a bit younger than I am, but did you watch it in reruns or anything?
It not on a regular basis, but I did catch it here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you know who Blair and Joe and Tootie and Natalie are?
Yeah, fucking Blair.
Talk more. What's going on here?
Right. Okay. So in this episode, and now I want to watch more because now I'm like, is she this much of a cunt all the time?
Blair we've had way cuntier episodes for Blair than
Really?
this one.
I guess I'm sensitive.
I guess so, but let's talk about it as the things happen. If you have a Blair cunt trigger that's happening here, then we have to definitely explore that as I microscopically dissect this show. So before we begin, I like to put my guests on the spot, Michelle, and ask you if you would please provide a 1 to 2 sentence overall synopsis of the entire show, similar to a listing that you might find in TV Guide.
Okay. Tootie comes to terms with her relationship with her mother.
There. That's it. That's genius. That's
Ah,
perfect. Yes. You win.
score!
You win. You win all of the televisions today.
Yay!
Yes. Yeah, it's yeah, an interesting thing because we have not met Tootie's mother before. So this is a first time experience for us. And let's get right into it, shall we? Going through the episode scene by scene. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, we start off in the store, Edna's Edibles. Not the same meaning that you find out there in Los Angeles, Michelle. Just want to make sure you're clear on that. So we have, you know how typically at the beginning of a sitcom, the typical structure is some type of an interaction or a joke happens that's kind of extraneous or maybe introduces something, but then it's a few lines into the show before someone actually presents the story of the episode.
Yes.
And this is not one of those shows.
No.
And I do obsessively, Michelle, in addition to synopsizing, I also obsessively compare the full-length version on the DVDs with the syndication version, which is what is found online, which is what you watch. So I'll let you know where stuff is missing. But I thought to myself when I watched it, I'm watching the DVDs and it jumps right in. And I thought, oh, wow, if I were watching the syndicated version, I would have thought, well, they had to have cut something. And they didn't. It jumps right in. Mrs. Garrett and Natalie are there. And it's, any word from Natalie? No, she's still at school, but she's going to be coming back anytime. And she's waiting for that call from the Peekskill Playhouse. And she has me with strict instructions to take the call. Well, yeah, she is busy because her mother's in town lecturing at Langley College. Wow, she must be so proud of her. I mean, am I lying?
No, it's like, whoa,
Yeah,
take it easy.
Yeah, it's just this.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
They just boom, start rattling this shit off to very quickly establish, okay, Tootie's waiting on a call from the Peekskill Playhouse, and Tootie's mother is in town, and she's in town because she is lecturing on law at Langley. I think we know that both of Tootie's parents are lawyers. We've met her dad. We met Tootie's dad in season 1, and he never appears during the series again, but that doesn't contradict anything we've heard otherwise on the series before. So then shortly after we get all of this information dump from Mrs. Garrett and Natalie, in come Blair and Joe and Diane Ramsey, Tootie's mother. And they call her Diane multiple times through the episode. So then, Michelle, do we understand or know, or can we explain the mystery of why in the end credits, she is credited as Pauline Ramsey?
What? She is?
Did you notice that?
I'm too busy looking for the casting director like it matters now.
No. Oh my God. Yeah, it was 40 years ago. Fuck it. They might still be it.
I might still have some sitcoms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I did not catch that. Wow.
Now, we've had this happen before where the TV guide listing contradicts the show. There was the episode that Zsa Zsa Gabor guest starred on, and her character's name was Countess Calvé, yet in the TV guide listing, she's listed as Duchess Dupree. That's the only other time I can think of, but it's like, okay, you edited the show, and I just made Michelle snarf. She took a drink, and now she's trying not to shoot it.
Wait, what was that name again?
What?
Dupree?
Duchess Dupree.
Duchess Dupree.
That sounds like a character you would make up. That needs to be in your Instagram feed.
It's going in my book.
Do it. Steal it.
Oh,
Absolutely. No one will ever know.
Dupree.
Duchess Dupree. So yes. But the weird thing is, it's like the credits are post-production. So you've edited the show and now you're doing the credit roll. It's like, did you not watch the show? How did that happen?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's that the names don't match. I thought that was curious. And
Curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah, Duchess Dupre. Maybe she's a murder mystery like an Angela Lansbury. Just throwing it out there because I love
I like it.
collaborating with you.
I like it.
So Tootie's mother is played by actress Chip Fields. And Chip Fields, you might notice her last name is Fields, just like Kim Fields is the actress who plays Tootie. That is because Chip Fields is Kim Fields' mother in real life.
Okay. I could totally see that.
Mm-hmm. And Chip Fields she has several acting credits that come up to this day. She's still with us. Kim Fields still posts pictures of her on her Instagram, as a matter of fact. Chip, I feel like Chip had a birthday within the last month or so. But Laverne Fields is her birth name. She was born Laverne. Chip is her nickname that she used as her professional name. She started as a singer. In the early 70s, she was one of the Ronettes.
Oh,
I assume not one of the originals,
awesome.
but as one of the replacement Ronettes.
Yeah.
By the early 70s, they were just rotating them in and out. But yeah, then she moved into acting. She played a secretary on the Amazing Spider-Man TV series, the one starring Nicholas Hammond. Anybody? The wonderful Nicholas? Anybody? Do you know who Nicholas Hammond is?
Arnie would know.
Yes. Yeah, your husband Arnie would know because Arnie is a super nerd like me.
Yes.
I'm going to say a movie that will surprise you when I say Nicholas Hammond. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Really?
The movie that Leo DiCaprio is shooting, the director is Nicholas Hammond, the guy with the sort of spiked up hair and the aviator glasses. He was Spider-Man in the 70s, and he was Friedrich, the oldest son in The Sound of Music with Julie Andrews.
Wow.
So, yeah. And another notable role that Chip Fields played was Penny's abusive mother on Good Times. Remember, Penny was Janet Jackson?
Yes.
And Willona took Penny in and adopted her. Well, her bio mom was this abusive bitch. That was Chip Fields, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Yep. And another of the many kabillion fun facts, she would go on to play Kim Fields' mother also on Living Single.
Oh.
The next sitcom that Kim Fields would do for, I think, 5 or 6 seasons. Not only did she play Kim Fields' mother on Living Single, that was 12 episodes. She's also credited as a consultant on 26 of the episodes of Living Single, which is interesting. Consultant is a very broad term.
Yeah. That could, what is she consulting?
It could just be Kim Fields put her on the payroll. She needs work. She needs to make her weeks to get her health insurance. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It could be. But the name of the character of Kim Fields' mother on Living Single, Laverne. Chip Fields' birth name.
Wow.
Yeah. Fascinating.
It's fascinating.
Yes. So not only is she her mother, you assume when you have a child actor, she's also like a manager, agent, and clearly a consultant. And I would also put forth, based upon this episode of The Facts of Life, Michele, that she is also her daughter's acting coach. Do you agree?
I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
I could sit. The second half of the episode is them getting into some scene work and really chewing it up.
We've been having some issues with Kim Fields lately in analyzing her performances. The better part of this season, she's been really leaning toward what I like to call the Mackenzie Phillips school of acting, where everything is shouted.
Yes.
Where there's so much, it's such a bigger performance that would be appropriate on a stage. Yet you look at it thinking, this is a little bit too big for television.
Mm-hmm.
And
she starts at a 10. She's got nowhere to go.
Yeah. And we've been saying that about Kim Fields for a few weeks now. And no diss to her and her talent. There's no question she's a good actress and a talented actress. It's just there's some weird stuff going on here as she develops as an artist. But then you see the way Chip is and how Chip very quickly starts at like a 7 and then goes to 11. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
That apple didn't fall far from that tree.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
It started up here and it never left from up here. Everybody's yelling.
Well, of course, how did the lecture go, Diane/Pauline, whatever the fuck your name is? How did this lecture at Langley on law go? And they're like, it was lusciously lumptious. But actually the word is a triumph. So this was the lecture to end all lectures. And they start talking about going to law school and being a lawyer. And Mrs. Garrett is like, let's go into the living room, because no one ever needs to be minding the store. They're a business, but everybody can just ignore the front door of the store. I ask that all the time.
Sure.
Who's minding the store? But as they're talking about it, Joe starts showing some interest for maybe being a lawyer. And Diane does say, you might want to give it some thought. You would make a good lawyer. And she says, okay, maybe. And so file that away.
It was really?
Yeah.
And then Blair said, really? Like a cunt.
But that's part of their banter. That's their thing. Blair and Joe dig at each other. And okay, well, let's keep it going. Let's keep finding these moments here.
I'm on Joe's side.
Hashtag Team Joe right there.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. And Diane says, well, think of it as getting things accomplished without using force, being a lawyer. And Joe is like, yeah, you got to admit sometimes force is pretty successful. And that's where Blair comes in like, oh, she wants to go to the Chuck Norris School of Law. Another Blair dig. I guess maybe you're right. Maybe there are a lot of there's a lot of Blair digs in this.
There's so many. And I'm like, leave her alone, man.
Yeah. So then Diane does a little bit of a demonstration by doing like a conflict resolution thing between Blair and Joe over Blair using the bathroom too much. And it comes out pretty successful, and that continues to pique Joe's interest. And then at the end of it, when the ruling comes down in Joe's favor, not Blair's, Blair screams, I object, and Mrs. Garrett comedically, casting herself in the role of the judge, says, overruled, next case. So Joe wins that. And then Blair turns to Joe and says, my lawyer will call your lawyer. Did you notice that? Did you notice a little dialect issue there with Blair?
Yeah. What's her story?
Well, the thing is that Blair is supposed to be from New York. She's from the Northeast, and they're in New York. And pretty much everywhere in the country, other than the South, says lawyer. Loy, like rhymes with boy. But in the South, Lisa Welchel, being from Texas, they say lawyer.
Lawyer.
Like my lawyer practices law. The two words are pronounced the same.
Lawyer.
And
lawyer.
So,
Jenny, you will call my lawyer. Sorry.
It's like a Forrest Gump.
You've got to call my lawyer. Jenny, I want full custody. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. The floor in the Ralphs was slippery. I fell. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, I'm flushing. I'm getting hot
like,
flashes.
Yeah, I need to get
Oh, bless. That is Texan Lisa Welchel all over. That is not New York socialite Blair Warner who says the word lawyer. Just pointing that out there. But Blair has other things going on. She's got bigger fish to fry than this dispute over the bathroom. She needs a costume for a party at Sigma Chi, one of the sororities at Langley College. And Michelle, what is the theme of the party? Do you remember?
Punk.
Mm-hmm. And so, because it's a punk party, she says, I need to find some old, disgusting clothes. Joe?
Oh.
Big laugh. Gotta say, comedically, yes. But yeah, that's another dig.
I can't. I don't know. It's like, I think because I just relate to Joe in that, like, growing up, I was always the tomboy.
Mm-hmm.
And I got poked fun at a lot. So I'm like really sensitive about it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, leave her alone. So she doesn't want to wear makeup. So what? So she doesn't want to.
So she wants to lick a cooter or two. Go right
Right.
ahead.
Let her be.
Let it go. Let the lesbian live, for crying out loud. So then as they go upstairs, Joe starts going into lawyer mode, negotiating why Blair should pay her if she wants to use her clothes. And Joe goes into, we can agree that it would cost you money to buy stuff at a store. And we can also agree. So Joe is latching onto this lawyer thing. Hear how I said that. And that's good. That's going to come back through the episode, and I am not mad at it. But I just want to put a little pin in that. It's a punk party, so I need some old, disgusting clothes. Put a pin in that, please, ladies and gentlemen.
A pin has been put.
So then in comes Tootie. It is wintertime, so she is wearing a coat over her Eastland uniform. Everything is, mother's like, how was school? Everything's okay. And he calls. And the mother's like, Tootie, you missed my lecture. I was hoping you'd be able to make it there. And Tootie's like, yeah, sorry, I couldn't make it. I had to file my nails or something. But before we have a chance to sort of delve a little deeper into, Tootie didn't go to her mother's lecture? Ding dong, in comes Kelly. It's like, God, I hate her so much. When she joined the show, she was a little hoodlum. She vandalized the store. She threatened to throw a jar through a window. She dropped a jar on the floor, threatened Blair, and stole money from her. And now she's a member of the family. No, fuck you, you little bitch. Get out of my show. I have feelings about things.
And you express them. That's healthy.
That's right. It is, isn't it?
It's good.
So Kelly is there because she's got to get with Natalie regarding a toilet paper, a TPing party that they've got going on that night. And Kelly does say when she is introduced to Tootie's mom, I used to shoplift here, but now I'm rehabilitated. I'll put that in one, that's one little itty bitty thing where I was like, okay, at least they addressed it. I don't like it still, but at least they addressed the fact that her arrival at the show was a rocky one at best. Mm-hmm. But they are mentioning other factors of the show. This is a revenge TPing. They're TPing a statue for revenge against Stone Military Academy for beating Bates Academy at basketball. Those are two schools where we have visited and been to, and the girls do discuss. Those are canon. They are a part of the Facts of Life cinematic universe. So
they're in the show Bible.
Yes, something we have speculated many times. We're not sure if it exists, but yeah. So and Tootie's mother is just laughing. Oh, they're TPing. It's just a little biodegradable fun. That's a comment that's going to come back and bite her in the ass. So they try to plan for a dinner. She wants to take them out for lobster. I mean, mom is a high roller here, and she's a big lawyer lecturing. She's got some fucking money. So she wants to take everyone out for lobster. No one needs to mind the store. It takes care of itself. But Tootie's like, no, I have a paper due. No, I can't. Yeah, I know, Mom, you're just in town for like 2 days, but I just can't spend time with you. Sorry. It's like, really? But then the phone rings, and it's the Peekskill Playhouse. And Tootie answers the phone, and Natalie's like, don't make him think you're too desperate. Okay, wait, just a moment. She gets
One
on.
more
And then,
ring.
yeah, one more ring. And then she gets on the phone, and it's clearly not good news. And Mrs. Garrett puts her arms around her, and she hangs up the phone, dejected. And so the mother asks, what's that about? And Tootie had auditioned for the summer workshop at the Peekskill Playhouse, which is a fictional place. I did look it up. It does not exist, and I don't think it did at the time. She was going to be spending her whole summer there for 2 months, like doing a sort of, she called it a summer workshop. It almost sounded more like an internship sort of
Yeah.
a deal. And that's,
I'm interested.
Mhm.
I want to go.
Yeah, Michelle's like, how did she apply for that again? Who do you,
What is this program? What do you need to do?
the program? And her mother's like, oh, sweetie, I know you're disappointed, and it'll probably happen again. I wish you'd try out for things that'll make you happy. And Tootie's like, bitch, acting does make me happy. And one of the few things this show has done right is establish that Tootie wants to be an actress and kept it as a consistent through line for her character over the last 5 years. So it's like, no, we know that this is Tootie. Like this, it's like, how do you not know that this is really her thing? And so she's like, oh, well, let's get ready and go out. We'll come out for lobster with us. And Tootie says, no, I'm too upset for dinner tonight. So I'm going to walk over to the fireplace and turn my back to the room. Sitcom blocking. What is happening? But I'm right. Do I lie,
You're
Michele?
totally right. Why would you ever turn your back? Why ever? Oh.
Yeah, it's camera blocking. I mean, it happens all the time in sitcoms, but it just looks so artificial and so theatrical. But so Tootie says, I feel like being alone. So the mother says, okay, fine. Well, how about we have breakfast tomorrow before the seminar that I'm also lecturing at or whatever. And Mrs. G says, and feel free to join me, Michele, anytime if you are inspired to do a bad Mrs. Garrett impression with me. But Mrs. Garrett says, next year. Try harder and knock their socks off. And Tootie's mother has left at this point. So she's like, oh, thank you, Mrs. Garrett. Thank you for the support. Why the fuck didn't my mother say that? And so Tootie ends up going on a little bit of a tantrum about my mother never gives me any support. She's glad that I failed, was cut from syndication. Yeah, they cut her saying she's glad that I failed. And Mrs. Garrett says, Tootie, you're wrong. And then she says, she doesn't know what's best about me. She doesn't know the first thing about me. And Natalie is like, Tootie, you have a great mother. What the fuck are you talking about? And Tootie just says, you like her so much, you can have her. Nah. And then they run off. And before we go to commercial, we have what I like to call the Thornton Wilder moments, where the characters are just left there to react in silence as we wait for the slow, agonizing fade. Thankfully, the syndication version, Michele, spares us that awful experience. But when you watch the full-length version on the DVDs, Tootie runs up the stairs, and we are left with Mrs. Garrett and Natalie with just the, well, fuck. I mean, whew, that was...
Wow.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Man,
Yikes.
And then we fade out. It's like, somebody call cut. Jesus Christ.
They like to give a little bumper. A
Yeah.
little bumper, a little breathing room.
Well, clearly they're thinking, well, when we syndicate this and want to eliminate portions of the show to include room for more commercials, we can cut 5 minutes right here.
Whew.
Yeah. Fuck, dude. I mean, god damn.
Wow. Yikes. Oh, mama. That was rough.
So, Michele,
Made my butthole pucker.
I'm gonna do what I do every week with my guests, and I like to during the commercial break do a little getting to know you section. And already, I think people are getting a sense of the little thread of crazy that is woven through your sense of humor. And this child who appeared at Sleuth's Mystery Dinner Theater one night, the instantaneous, I was like, I am in love with this girl. I am whatever train she is driving, I am on board. And what would follow, all the particularly Sleuths, because we had so many, we had such wide berth to make our characters our own and really experiment and do crazy stuff. So the stuff we did at Sleuths, and then to get to, kind of move into the big time together a little bit, doing Citizens of Hollywood at Disney. It's just, oh my God, I miss you, and I miss performing with you so goddamn much.
Aww.
But Michele, leave us turn back the clock, and let me ask you,
Yes.
where were you born?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, with Tracy
Yeah.
Turnblad and Corny Collins.
That's right.
Did you get crabs there? Ha
ha! Boy, did I.
And is that where you were also reared and brought it up?
No, we actually left there by the time I was 1.
Oh.
We lived in Jacksonville, Florida for like a year. And then we moved to Sarasota, which is pretty much where I went to school.
And that's on the west coast of Florida?
Yeah.
Quite a bit south of like 4 hours-ish from Orlando?
Not even. It's maybe 2 hours, I think.
Is it? Oh, I'm thinking of Naples. I always mix up.
Oh, yeah.
Naples is farther down the coast, but
yeah.
Okay. And where did you study, or how did you first get into performing before you broke into the Orlando theatrical scene?
I started taking classes at Artsake with Yvonne Suhor.
Okay, that's here in Orlando.
Yeah. And studied there for, on and off for like 5 years, maybe.
Mm-hmm. They're still around too, I think.
They're still, they're still going. I think they're in the same location even, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I started doing that, and I started performing at Titanic, the exhibition.
Oh, yes.
As a
indeed.
tour guide.
They are still there, yes, in a slightly different form, not quite the way you did the job back in the day, but oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I started doing that, and then it was Sleuths, and then Universal, Disney.
You, at the time, were with your then future husband, the incredibly talented Mr. Arnie Ellis.
Yes.
And you guys had already been talking about moving out west and pursuing more, because you'd done a bit of film and TV down here too. You have a reel of work from here.
Yes. I did Burn Notice and The Glades.
So when was it that you guys moved out to the California, Los Angeles?
2013. June 17th was the day we landed.
And what is going through your head at that point? Because you had, you're going to be pounding the pavement and going to auditions. God. And was it scary? Was it like...
Oh, it's very scary. And it's like, you don't know what it's really going to be like. You can talk to so many people and ask them questions, what did you wish you knew when you moved out here?
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that. But it's something that's really hard to prepare for, because you instantly feel 50% more self-conscious. Because everybody here is beautiful
Yeah. And
and
everybody works in the
skinny.
industry too. From what I hear, it's
Yeah,
you meet so few people that aren't somehow in the biz or trying to get into the biz.
yeah. Like everybody that I work with at the dispensary, like
Wh-
they
Uh,
everybody's
excuse,
oh
I'm listening. Oh, that's right. It's legal out there. That's right.
it's legal. It's totally legal.
I said that earlier and already forgot.
It paid my bills. It pays my bills.
Hmm.
But yeah, like everybody I work with is like just mostly musicians that I work with, and like
Hmm.
some actors and some writers and a couple of editors. Like everybody's involved. And the
Yeah.
thing is, it's like in Los Angeles, there is a high ratio of assholes to cool people.
Oh, yeah. You hear. Yeah.
You
Ugh.
see it all the time. And especially like working in the service industry, you're going to see it. There's a lot of entitlement and like, but then like when you meet somebody that's cool, like they are really fucking cool.
So you take Los Angeles by storm, and you worked with both Groundlings and Second City, haven't you?
Yes. Yes, I did groundlings for the first about 3 years we were out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this, the training that I got in the improv levels
Mm-hmm.
was amazing, and I highly recommend it to anybody that wants to study improv, in particular character based improv.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get into the writing lab, it's high stakes. They're grooming you for stage. People may not be your friend
Oh,
when you get to that level, and the teachers can be very harsh. So it's like it, and that was my experience. Somebody else may have had like a totally amazing 100% supportive experience, but
so talk about Second City, which seems to me, looking at your social medias, that it's definitely become more of an artistic home for you.
yeah, yeah, it's going there after groundling, like 2 weeks after groundlings I went there, so I was like really down in it. I was
Mm.
wallowing in it. I didn't get invited into the next level, blah
Mhm.
blah blah, woe is me. And I went to Second City, and my first teacher, who's now a good friend of mine, Eileen Monteleone, and she immediately was so supportive, and like
Mm.
she actually cared,
Yeah.
and she wasn't so abrasive, and it was just what I needed. And then I finished the conservatory at Second City. I'm on a house team so far.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't know what it's going to look like when it all comes back, but
Yeah,
um
it's yeah, a sign of a thing. We're all going through it,
yeah.
and that whole thing. Now, what was the wasn't there a series of shows you were doing with like a comedy partner, another gal?
Yes, I did. As my friend Ali Picard and I, we're on the house sketch team together, and yeah, we wrote a duo show. I feel like I'm finally realizing my potential,
Mm-hmm.
and
Fucking A. That's awesome.
I feel like I'm finally getting started. You know,
Yeah.
so
On
now
this lifelong journey of discovery that
yeah,
all of us artists have to do. We're like, could I hit a finish line, please? Could I know that I'm there?
right,
And could I just know that I'm there and I'm ready and I can fucking do it? And ugh, oh,
yeah.
the torment of creativity. And didn't you also do a show with Arnie with your hubs
Yeah, we were still doing it when the pandemic started.
in the before times?
In the before times,
Yeah.
uh we were doing a show called That's the End of Our Time.
Whoa.
And it, wow,
Prophetic there, kids.
right? Oh, but
Oh.
it's a story about a therapist going through an awful divorce, but he becomes the therapist to the Tooth Fairy, a leprechaun, and Santa Claus,
Oh
and
my
the Easter
God.
Bunny. But he was Santa Claus, and I was the leprechaun.
Wow.
And I don't know if we're gonna do it again when it comes
Oh.
back.
Oh, I hope so. Well, come to
Oh,
Orlando. Come to Orlando and do it here. You have
I want to do a Fringe in Orlando again so bad. I want to do my solo show or do a duet show with Arnie.
oh my God, you guys should.
Like,
It'd be so awesome to get to see you
I,
perform again.
I miss you guys a lot.
Yeah, Orlando community really is special.
Yeah.
I hope I get to see you again soon. I hope a trip. I would love to take another trip to Los Angeles and visit some
Yeah.
people out there. So I'd love to see your face then. And
That'd be
I'm so
fun.
happy to see your face on our little Zoom box right now.
Yar.
And best of luck to all performers and artists, particularly in cities like LA and New York, where it's hitting you folks hard, the pandemic. But Michele, enough about you.
Yeah.
We need to get back to the facts of life. We've got
Learning
important
them.
shit.
That's right.
So we start back from commercial with a little scenelet that is cut from syndication. And what it is it's just more reinforcement about Joe maybe following this lawyer track. So Mrs. Garrett is complaining about she's gotten a bill from a magazine company that started sending her this magazine that she never even ordered and did not want. And it's called Trampoline World Magazine. And when you start the word trampoline in 1984, you really hope it's just like, Tramp Magazine or something, but sadly it wasn't. But Joe says that she's been reading some book on law that Tootie's mother had given her. So Joe suggests some legalese thing for Mrs. Garrett to write them a letter, and they have no recourse if you didn't order it, and blah, blah, blah. And Mrs. Garrett is impressed. And Joe even says, this is a great profession for me. Where else can you get paid so much money just to threaten people? Great line. And in my opinion, this was a great seed that they've planted, and then they did nothing to nurture and water it. And I think it could have been a really great thing. It's file it under missed opportunities.
They made a promise that they didn't keep.
Yeah. It's too bad. He wants to be an actress. Natalie wants to be a writer. And we learned that is what they end up doing with their lives. It's Blair and Joe who kind of, it's fuzzy what they're searching for and trying to figure out before the series ends. Anyway, I could go on forever. So then that scene is cut from syndication. In syndication, we start back from commercial at this stage of the show when Blair appears in her punk outfit. Blair's punk outfit, can you help me describe this?
Red and black, baggy, slashed and torn.
Yeah, cuts, the slashes, the slices and cuts. Not unlike the movie star from 2 or 3 weeks ago when we had a movie star going to Langley. That was one of her things. So it was, all the cuts in the clothes. It might have been one of her hand-me-downs. Side ponytail.
Yes.
She's got like these metallic, like leather bracelet bands that have the spikes on them.
Yeah. Really triangular sunglasses.
Yeah, metallic, angular, very 80s sunglasses. Very stylish. And like a belt strap over her shoulder with like grommets in it, like studs. So you've got this sort of, the leather and the spike and the hard edge thing, for a punk party, for what someone should wear to a punk party that doesn't really dress like that. It's a reasonable facsimile. It works.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of 80s fabulous. But the problem in this episode, and I think we already put a pin in this earlier, is Blair comes down and says, "What do you think?" And Joe says, "I think you should hand wash," meaning your clothes are falling apart. They're all shredded. They've come apart because you didn't wash them correctly. Talks about she took her designer clothes and repurposed them. And Mrs. Garrett says, "I thought you were going to go to that secondhand store, that thrift store." And Blair says, funny Blair moment, "Oh, secondhand Rose. Yeah, I was going to go there until I found out they were selling clothes that other people had already worn." It's like, oh, Blair, you rich bitch.
Oh, she's so sheltered.
But then let me finish this little loop here where the others do show up and their paths cross before Blair leaves. And Natalie walks in and says, "Hey guys, Blair, you're gross." And it's a laugh line. It's like, okay, clearly Jerry Mayer, who wrote this, who is not a young man, he's mistaking the punk look for grunge, which wasn't a thing yet. But punk look was not dirty, disheveled, worn out, torn clothing like hobo camp clothing. It's like, is that a good, can I not say that? Like homeless people clothing. It's, I'm just like, there's clearly a disconnect here with because I'm like, you could have gone further with the punk and had really, spiky hair and tons of safety pins and, fake jewelry on the face and black eyeliner. Like, punk was actually a very cultivated look that a lot of time and effort went into.
Yeah.
Right? Am I remembering? And you again,
No,
I was around.
It's like that. I mean, it wasn't. They clearly would take time to get ready.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just a thoughtless thing. Like they care what they look like. They want to look a certain way. There's a lot of detail in that.
Yeah, there was definitely some assembly required. Really, this is a person that's like, there were these punks down the street throwing a ball in an alleyway and they started giving me some lip. And, the idea that, punk as in punk rock look is not the same as a street punk from the 1930s Depression era Brooklyn. So
an urchin.
Yeah, what would Patton Oswalt say? A Dickensian street urchin.
Yes.
So that's just, we have to stop on this or I'm going to keep going with this. But this is one of those where clearly a not very cool show written by not very cool people is trying to click into a cool trend of the time and failing miserably. Other than Blair's look, the look itself, it's like the costume designer got it as well. She fucking should have if she's a costume designer. But it's like the rest of it, the writing is not supporting what truly punk was in the 80s. And I know because sadly I'm old enough that I was there. Too young to be a punk, but old enough to be there.
So this episode was leap year of 84.
84. Yeah.
So I was 7.
Mm-hmm. If you're comfortable divulging your age, then yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm 43. I am 43-year-old woman.
Holy shit, you're old. I just turned 52. So in 1984, I was 15 going on 16. I know that I'm naive. So mom comes in, ding dong, in comes Diane again. And Tootie's not around. Tootie didn't meet her for breakfast. Tootie's still avoiding her. And as Natalie and what's her face, the little bitch, Kelly, come in post TP party, they let it slip that Tootie and Jeff were there.
Dun-dum.
Da-dum. So she's like, whoa, she lied to me. She said she had to be at the library studying or something. And when Jeff is brought up, she's like, oh, who's Jeff? She says one of her boyfriends. And they're like, no, he's the boyfriend. And again, show Bible moment. Yes, that is true. Tootie has been dating Jeff steadily. So Jeff is absolutely, that's a writing win. And Diane is like, I've never even heard of a Jeff, let alone that he's an exclusive boyfriend. And another Blair cunt moment for you, Michele. She does say, Joe, are you going to come to the party with me? And Joe says, I'm not dressing up like some freak. And Blair says, you don't have
to.
Yeah.
That bitch.
Is that your cunty voice? That's your...
You don't have to. I'm Blair. I'm just observing the face that I make.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's a pretty girl?
You don't have to.
So on that note, Blair and Joe leave the episode forever. So Mrs. Garrett, so Tootie excuses herself to go upstairs after her mother says, you were out TPing with the others and you lied to me. That's vandalism. And Tootie's like, oh, really? Well, yesterday you called it biodegradable fun. Booyah,
Burn!
Bitch. Suck it, Mom. And so then Tootie's like, well, can I please go upstairs and study now? Bye. Like, try to tell me I can't go study. So she goes. And then we have a scene that is cut from syndication that's kind of an important scene where it's Mrs. Garrett and Diane. And it's Diane saying, I don't know how to talk to her. And Mrs. Garrett's like, yeah, that was pretty fast. I was under the impression you were going to read her the riot act. And she's like, well, we talked about vandalism and she admitted it was wrong. And then, that was it. And Mrs. Garrett says, well, what about her lying to you and not telling you about Jeff? And she's like, well, we didn't get to that. I don't like to argue with my daughter. And Mrs. Garrett says, Mrs. Garrett wisdom, sometimes making waves is the only way to get to the bottom of things. And
well, that's an important scene. You're right.
You're right. And she does say, we have so little time together. I just want it to be quality time. And that was a very new term in the 80s, having quality time with your children. It's very common. That was a very new thing in the 80s. And so Mrs. Garrett even says, quality time. She goes, I don't even know what that means. And Diane's kind of like, yeah, I don't know either. And there's a very weird Mrs. Garrett moment where she talks about, when my son Raymond would come home from school and I would ask him, how was your day? All I got was fine and good until he started getting into trouble. And so Diane says, well, what did you do? And Mrs. Garrett says, I learned to ask better questions. And she wasn't mad at Diane, but it was one of those moments where Charlotte Rae pushes what she says to emphasize it. And here's the thing, she's not wrong. She's like, that's true. As a parent, you got to learn to ask better questions. And she ends up saying, Diane, you're not trying to settle something out of court. You're trying to get to know your daughter. Go talk to her. And again, she's shouting while she's doing it. But I love that what's the overarching meaning of this scene, the way it would be said today is, if you're a parent, you're going to have uncomfortable conversations. And the sooner you get to it, the sooner you're going to get used to it and accept that it's just something you got to fucking do, especially with a teenager. Jesus.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Garrett kind of fortifies her and is like, pushes her and says, get back in the ring, honey. This fight is not over. And I'm sad it had to go because it is a good Mrs. Garrett scene. And it is nice that she doesn't just fucking rule these girls. She helps their parents be better parents to the girls. She is a goddess.
Bow down.
To the deity. So I tried to synopsize the next scene, which is Tootie up in the bedroom, and Diane comes in, and they talk back and forth, and they have confrontation, and you don't listen to me, you don't know what's important to me, and blah, blah, blah. It's literally just a scene where they go back and forth, and then they come to a moment of understanding with some good kind of groundwork and ground rules being laid. Like, you're going to tell me more about what's going on. And Tootie's saying, even the stuff you don't want to hear. And she kind of steels herself and says, especially the stuff that I don't want to hear. And it's a good scene, except we have the weirdest moment in the middle of it, where they try to build up this argument. And from a writing standpoint, I totally get what he's trying to do. Is he wanted it to bubble up to a boiling point and then have something pop the balloon and give it a moment of, you let the air out of the scene to give us a moment to relax. Unfortunately, it's done with Tootie saying, I want to be an actress and you're not supporting that. And she's like, why don't you be an entertainment lawyer instead? That's a lot steadier work. And Tootie says, you're doing it again, Mom. You're telling me what to do. And Diane says, I'm your mother. I have a responsibility. I should be shouting 5 times louder, by the way.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing is the friggin' close-up film series. I'm doing a Merchant Ivory film. Okay. Version of this. But Diane says, I'm your mother. I have a responsibility. If you tell me you want to jump off a building, I'm supposed to say yes. And Tootie says, Mom, I want to be an actress, not a stunt woman. Oh my God, what was that? She said,
what are we even arguing about?
Wiping the tears out of my eyes. What that was supposed to be the leap from don't tell me what to do to the parental, if other people say they want to jump off a bridge, parental trope, to being Tootie saying, I want to be an actress, not a stunt woman. That is a moment that strikes them both as funny. Thank God the audience laughs because they're laughing, but I'm sitting at home going, what? I had to back it up and hear the lines again. And then I was like, I'm watching the DVD. Nothing was cut here. Nothing's missing. This is the way they wrote it and performed it. And it's such an odd, like I said, structurally, from a writing standpoint, I get it 150%. It's a great technique.
It seems like the placeholder, like they put that there, like we'll think of something better later.
Yes.
And then they never went back and thought of like what it could really be.
Yeah. It was like, ooh, A for effort, a D- for execution, Mr. Mayor. Sorry.
Wah, wah.
Yes. And so it ends with Tootie, like I said, they lay some groundwork of that, of a nice mother-daughter going forward groundwork and nice parental things that I do like, and I will give him his props for this. Anne says, I want you to tell me what you want me to do. And Tootie says, all right, I want you to let me make some of my own decisions. And she considers this and says, okay. And then Tootie says, but bail me out when I'm wrong. And it's like, oh, that's essentially the definition of parenting.
Yeah.
But yeah. But at one point she says, Tootie says to her mom, wow, you're beginning to sound like Mrs. Garrett. And her mom says, thank you. You're beginning to sound like my daughter. There's this stunt woman? No. that joke was funny. Remember that funny thing? We're going to say it again to maybe hope you think
Remember
it's funny.
That forced bit.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Maybe if we force it harder, does that make it funny? That's a comedy rule, right? Force the laugh twice and it will be funny the second time, maybe.
I feel like this is kind of conversation that like let's say there's a 43-year-old woman,
Okay.
and I feel like that there's like a 43-year-old woman out there that still has to have this conversation with her mother.
Oh. Are you asking for a friend, Michelle?
Yeah, it's for a friend.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're saying that you think you have a friend who may have connected with this and seen some parallels with this episode.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't have children.
And I was like, son of a bitch. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they don't have children either.
So this friend of yours has not seen it from the other side.
Right.
And yeah, wow. Well, maybe show your friend this episode, and maybe your friend will feel like she's not alone in her mother driving her crazy.
Yeah. I think yeah.
Okay.
I think I'll share it.
Okay, so we're at the end of the episode.
Okay.
And the last thing I like to do before I send you on your way is to keep the nostalgia factor going. Think of a commercial from your childhood, a random TV commercial. Maybe it had a jingle or a catchphrase, anything off the top of your head. Go.
By Menon.
If there was ever a person that's like men's shaving products, it's like, oh my God. There were so many commercials that ended.
There's so many. By Menon.
Yeah, and some women's stuff too. Why did they not call the lady deodorant? Why didn't they call that women-in?
Women-in. By women-in.
Yeah, that rolls off the tongue.
Still works.
Yeah, totally. Michele, my love,
My
this
dear.
has been amazing to get to talk to you again, to get some one-on-one time and get to hog you and all to myself. And oh, God damn, I miss seeing you, and
I miss seeing you too.
Spending green room time with you, running around with your top off. And
what?
Nah.
Me?
Oh my God, it's just making my heart sing to get to experience the presence of you, even though it is only a digital representation.
Oh, for sure.
So my love, let us hope that this isn't the last time we get to do this. And tell your husband he's next. I'm going to become an
okay
very, very soon. Very soon. Actually.
Yes, he'll be ready.
Yes. All right then. Well, sadly, our time together is at an end. So all I can say is I miss you. I love you. Smooches and goodbye.
Mwah, mwah, mwah,
Mwah, mwah, mwah. No, mwah.
Miss you.
Right,
I love you.
you.
Mwah, mwah, mwah,
Mwah, mwah, mwah, mwah, mwah.
Pew, pew, pew.
And there you have it. That was Michele Sims. God, she is just... Oh, I love that girl so much. I want to gobble her up. Anyway, next week I'm going to be watching Season 5, Episode 22, All by Herself. Sadly, that is the final appearance of Jerry Jewell, Cousin Jerry, on the Facts of Life series, so... I'm not looking forward to it. I'm a little sad already, and I haven't even done it yet. But if you wish to watch it ahead of time, you can watch the episode for free at dailymotion.com. I'll post the link in the show notes, and you can also find it at this episode's webpage. That's all for now. Thank you so much for listening to this week's show. And remember, the facts of life are all about you. Let's Face the Facts was produced, written, hosted, and edited by me, David Almeida. My theme song was beautifully arranged and recorded by Ned Wilkinson. Our website is facethefactspod.com. You have to drop the lets. And that's where you can find extra pictures, video, and audio extras from the digital cutting room floor. Follow the show on social media. We're everywhere under the handle Face the Facts Pod. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/FaceTheFactsPod. And don't forget, go to your favorite podcatchers and subscribe, rate, and review. Tune in again next week for another thrilling episode of Let's Face the Facts.